Hi, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. I never know who will walk through that door. I've said that in season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4. And today is no exception to the rule. Let me tell you why. When I first met this young lady, I was looking at her bio. And I said, where's the beast mindset here? And she got real quiet. And I said, well, she says, well, I got a book. I said, well, what's the book? And she whips it out like Gunsmoke. And it's called Live in the Moment. A very impactful book. And she's here today to explain the journey of this book, how it originated, and more importantly, the importance of not really changing your identity, but the importance of rebranding. I'd like to welcome to the show, Brandy Nicole.
Thank you.
Man, what an inspiring book. Beautiful cover. Let's get the viewers a little bit about you. Let's start with your child. Who exactly is Brandy Nicole?
Ooh. Brandy
You said that earlier.
Is a lot. Brandy Nicole is a lot. For starters, Brandy Nicole is God-fearing. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's a serial entrepreneur with many hats.
Okay.
Going back to as far as I can remember, being raised by my great-grandmother. So when I always start with that, a lot of people are like, so not your mother, not your father, not your grandmother, but your great-grandmother. Mm-hmm. So just think of being raised by somebody very old all of your life. And so everything I know, she taught me. Everything that I am today is because of her. My parents were there, but they were young. So my parents were 16 and 17 years old when they had me. So we know how hard that can be. Mm-hmm. So as I grew up, I know I wanted to always be more. As I went through my journey of high school and college, I have 2 degrees, grad school, all of the things. Worked in the corporate world, mm-hmm. Like everybody else, you're taught. Go to school, get an education, mm-hmm. get a good job. So I always thought I would have this big fancy desk, be some big vice president. I have a master's degree in human resources, so I thought that's what I would be doing.
Well, didn't you find it funny that I used to be a school teacher for several years?
Okay.
But one thing I noticed, they don't teach entrepreneurship in school.
Correct.
They teach you how to be a laborer, how to force. When did your mind shift to entrepreneurship? Because let's think about it for a minute. You was raised by a different generation. You was raised by your grandmother, who during that time, I'm looking back at my grandmother that raised me, right. whose family came from the cotton fields, out of slavery, and basically you had to fend for yourself, so to speak. So did your grandmother have any type of entrepreneurship in her bloodline? Zero.
So definitely self-taught.
Okay.
My mom didn't have it. My dad didn't have it. My grandmother didn't have it. Self-taught. I was just going to work. I was like, that's what we do. We work. My mom has worked for 36 years for a company. My dad has worked for 30 years for a company.
What did your mom and dad do? You said they were young mm-hmm. when they had you. Mm-hmm. When did a bond happen between you and your parents? Because there had to be an age gap to some degree.
Yeah. So I'd say at 15. That's when my great-grandmother died, and that's when I moved in with my mother.
Okay.
So my life changed completely.
How did it change?
Moved to a whole different side of town, new school, something that I was just totally unfamiliar with. I'm born and raised Brightwood, Indianapolis, east side of town.
Oh, 21st Brightwood area.
Come on.
I was scared to go over there. I know what that area is like.
And I went to the west side of town.
Okay.
Speedway. Ended up graduating from Ben Davis.
Okay.
So
Ben Davis is a great school.
Ben Davis is a wonderful school.
Yeah.
But I came from Perry Meridian.
Oh, okay.
Very different dynamic.
Very different.
Very different dynamic, right? We were bused. From Brightwood to Perry Meridian. So majority of the people I went to school with they didn't look like me. And I was used to that because that's what I had did from born to sophomore year in high school. Sophomore year, my world changed. That's when I moved with my mom. And I went to Ben Davis, which is about half and half,
When you moved in with your mom, what were some of the transitional thing that you had to get used to? Because you're going from an old soul mm-hmm. to new generation, and then their way of parenting is now totally different. You know, our grandparents let us get away with a lot of shit.
Right.
What was it like
But it was,
transitioning for you there?
I'm gonna say it was easier because Grandma was hard. Grandma was hard. I couldn't go off the porch.
But you was a girl. My grandmother treated me differently than she treated my sisters.
Absolutely. Same with me.
And they were like, well, why you treat Andre like this? Well, he's a boy. Mm-hmm. But she was very, very protective of my sisters.
Absolutely. My brother did anything he wanted to do. He was down the street and around the corner.
Did you hate your brother for that?
I was on the porch. I didn't. I understood because I knew where we lived at. You know what I mean? Although that's all I knew. But I understood why I couldn't do it.
So you move in with your mom and it was easier. What made it easier?
I think it was at that point, I mean, I'm a teenager. It's like I'm a teenager. I'm 15 now. I always had good grades, no problem. So it's like, why be hard when you don't have to be?
Right.
So we got along. We almost were sisters at that point. You know what I mean? She understood, right?
What about your dad?
My dad was in and out. You know, my dad was in and out. He's there now, you know, completely here now, supportive and everything like that. But we had a rocky relationship growing up, you know.
What do you think was rocky about it? Excuse me.
Just not being there completely, you know, birthdays and Christmases and, you know.
Probably
just
at a young
up.
age. He was trying to find himself, just to be real.
And I'm his own child. So, you know, just trying to figure it out.
Daddy's girl, so you spoiled.
I'm not.
Come on now. Come on now. Don't go there.
You know, I'm really not. A lot of people would think that, but I'm not. I've been working since I was 15. I worked at Kroger pushing carts outside in the snow. Like, I've never been handed anything. I've never been given anything. I've always worked. Always.
When you talk about your grandmother who passed and the relationship, the bond that you had, naturally, a lot of that is in this book. What are some of the things that you missed about her way of working with you going into the household? Because there had to be a lot of memories there, even though you were young.
Right. Yeah, I would just say, you know, it's just that unconditional love. You don't get that just from everybody. A great grandmother's love is something particular. It's different. It's just something that I've never had since she left. Mm-hmm. Yes, my mom loves me, my dad loves me, my husband, my brother, my kids, the world, whoever, right? I deal with a lot of community, but you never get that love that your great-grandmother instilled in you.
When you say unconditional love, like, amplify that for the viewers.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Just that teaching you how to cook, teaching you how to clean, teaching you how to teach your children, you know, what they're going to be when they grow up. So a lot of people are like, Brandy, you're an old soul. As young as I am, they're like, I have a 17-year-old and I have a 9-year-old. They're like, well, you treat them like they little babies. Well, they my little babies. Right. And the way that my grandmother taught me is the only way that I can teach them. Right today, my son, he just got an Instagram at 17 years old. They're like, you just now letting him get an Instagram? I'm like, honestly, he just asked for it. Right. You know what I mean? So just instilling in them what she taught me, and I'll keep her old. So if that's what's gonna keep my babies alive and out of trouble. As a
let's go back to you as a mother, and you mentioned you have children, and it's kind of odd that at 17, that a 17-year-old is just now exposing himself to the social media world when technically our blueprint now is social media. What did he give you reasons for it? Because you didn't say don't get on it. Right. Did he share with you the reasons why he wasn't ready for that now?
He just felt like he wasn't missing nothing. You know, he's truly a kid at heart. He want to get on a video game. He wants to go outside, shoot some hoops. He wasn't missing nothing. He still don't have Facebook. Okay. You know, he wasn't missing nothing. He's a kid, and that's what he wanted to be, and I was okay with that.
What do you bring from your experience as a mother on both sides, living with your grandmother, then unfortunately she passed, and now you had to go to a whole new generation of younger parents who are now older? What do you take from both of those into your household now? Ooh. You wasn't prepared for this. I told you we're going live unscripted.
I was not prepared. So what do I take them now from both? So from my parents, one thing I will always know about them, regardless of how young they were, they worked. So you asked me earlier, my mom, she's been working at White Castle for 36 years.
I hate to say this, but every 5 or 6 years, I got to go get that 10 sack. No
You know,
onions,
girl.
some cheese, but double them up.
Yeah.
But it's funny, I only eat 5 of them out of the 10.
Out of the 10. Right.
Yeah.
But you don't get a 10 side.
I'm gonna get a 10 side.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and everybody knows hers is there. Like Marissa, you've been there for years.
Which one she's at? Keystone?
She done been at all of them. She was at Keystone.
Really?
She done been at every one in Indianapolis. She's managed. She's a general manager, hard work ethic. You can't tell me nothing about my mother, right? And then my father, he's been working for Hilton Properties for as long as I can remember. He's a chief engineer doing his thing. Like they work hard, so that's where I got my work ethic.
You come from stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't play thing, young or not. They work. They work. And I work. I work 7 days a week, nonstop.
Before we talk about your business, let's talk about live in the moment.
Yes.
How did this come about? You guys make sure you get this book. We'll talk about it at the end on how to get this book and support young authors in not only in Indiana but throughout the world. But explain the purpose of this book and why it came about.
Yep. So even before I get to the book, my motto is live in the moment. We're not promised tomorrow. I know that's a cliche, but I truly believe in that. Everything you see on my social medias, my websites, it's about living in the moment. Everything that I do, eat, sleep, and breathe, is going to be for today because I don't know what tomorrow brings. So when I opened up my event center, which I know we'll talk about, it's called Living in the Moment Events. So I actually had that motto before I thought of the book. When I sat one day thinking of what else could I do? What else can Brandy bring to this world that I haven't already? Because I've accomplished a lot thus far, which I am proud of. But I wanted to do something that nobody in my circle had done. Nobody that I knew personally had done. And I had to think about that because I do a lot. And I said, I'm going to write a book. At first, I wasn't really passionate about writing a book. I didn't like school. I have a bachelor's, I have a master's, but I didn't like school. I didn't. I did it because that's what I thought I had to do, get educated. And I said, I'm going to write this book. I didn't know what I was going to write the book about. I hired me a business coach, fancy business coach, lived out in New Jersey. And I'm like, I want to write a book. I don't know what it's going to be about. What should I write about? Everybody would tell you, write about yourself. I didn't want to write about myself because I'm always looking to help somebody else. So I'm like, me writing about myself may help somebody else, but not necessarily. I said, I want to talk about life. I just want to talk about life. How do you figure out what you're passionate about? How do you figure out what's going to be your purpose? What do you want to do?
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I ask people that every time I come in contact. What's your purpose? And it's so funny. They have no idea.
No idea.
I said, what's your purpose? And they have to think about it for a minute. Mm-hmm. And it's funny. It shouldn't have to be something you have to think about.
But you do. Because you may think it's one thing. I thought I was going to be a fancy HR president or something, right? Because of my background, excuse me. But that's not what I turned out to be. So when I thought about writing this book, I said, I want to help people figure out what they're passionate about. What can they do? Can they be an entrepreneur? Should they not be an entrepreneur? Is it a hobby? Is it a side hustle? What is it? How do you figure out what you're passionate about? And that thing can be undefined. It really can for a long time. So when I thought about what I wanted to do, I sat there with my business coach and I said, let's just try to think of steps to get people to a purposeful life, whatever that may be. Mm-hmm. Everybody can't be an entrepreneur. Everybody can't be a worker. So what is it that you want to do with your one life that you have to live, and how can we get you there? Mm-hmm. So that's what the book is. It takes you through 7 steps of how to get to a purposeful life. That's it.
And these are your 7 steps that you use, and clearly it's successful and it's working.
Yes.
How can they get the book before we talk about your entrepreneur business?
You can get the book on Amazon, and you can also get the book on my website, IamBrandyNicole.com.
Let's talk about the wedding planner.
They're like, how do we get there? We're talking about an author, now we're a wedding planner.
How did that come about?
So that came about 7 years ago.
And it's not called the wedding planner. Let me clear that up.
It is not. 7 years ago, I was working, and I was tired of working, right? I done worked for the government. I worked in corporate, did all the things. And I was like, I want to do something that's fun, because I have a fun activity. I'm a fun person. So I'm always the one planning activities. I'm always the one planning trips, planning parties. I got to figure out something fun, because I'm just behind the desk. This is boring.
Let me hold that thought for a minute. That made perfect sense. And I want the viewers to listen closely to what she just said. You've had high-powered jobs that paid money, but it didn't matter. You was not happy.
Correct. And I wasn't happy because I wasn't fulfilled. Yes, I made great money in these positions. I've been branch managers. I've been HR managers, all these things, right? Mm-hmm. I've never just an employee. I've been leadership majority of my career, but I wasn't happy. I always felt something was missing. So in all these roles that I had, I was the only one that looked like me every time. Every meeting I went to, every event I went to, I was the only black woman.
What did that tell you in your subconscious mind?
For a while, because I was so young in those roles, so for a while I felt like I didn't belong there. I felt like, why am I in this room? Why is nobody else looking like me? First of all, where are the black people? And then secondly, where are the black women? And you weren't going to find them. You just weren't going to find them in the roles that I was in. So for a while, I tipped my hat off. I deserved to be in those rooms. But then it got overwhelming. I would have people look at me and say, you don't belong here. Or where's the other manager? Where's the next manager? I know there's somebody above you.
They began to question your ability to make the right decisions and the right calls.
Yep. And I had that happen more often than not. Like I said, I've worked for state, I've worked for city, I've worked for private sector. So I've had that happen a lot. So as I went through that, in those careers, I was like, this is not for me. When I reported to 6 white men in one of my jobs, and I would be looked frowned upon. I'm the one supposed to make the decisions, give the rules, give the laws, and I would be questioned because of the color of my skin. That's what I felt like, in those rooms. And so I said, I'm going to find something that I can do for me. So I used to take trips a lot, and I had a travel agent. My travel agent, she looked at me, she said, I think you can do this. And I was like, playing people's trips and try to make money off of it ain't gonna be enough.
You don't mind going to Cancun and all that with somebody else to know what they're doing, but now they want you to do this?
They want me to do it.
What did she see in you that made her even come at you with that?
You know what? It was my attitude, always.
Okay.
It didn't matter. She could mess up a trip, and I'm still gonna smile about it. As long as I get there, girl, just let me know. Oh, I owe you some more money? Okay, whatever. So she would plan my trips, and then she said, you can do this. And I was like, you know what? I am wanting to do something. So for a year, I trained with her. I learned. I educated. She taught me all the ropes of this travel industry.
You went under entrepreneurship.
I went under her wing.
Did she pay? Year. Did she offer you money, or you just did it? Because that's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of times, because you do an intern, you should do it because you see the bigger picture. So It's not necessarily about money.
Right.
When you took it, did you go in as an intern, unpaid intern, or she offered you some compensation?
So both. The travel industry is commission based.
Okay.
So I made my commission, but I also had to pay into it. So you pay into this business. So you have a monthly fee. So I'm paying that, but I'm also making commission when I book the trips.
Okay.
So we started doing that, and you know what? I fell in love with the business. I trained with her for a year, and then I opened up my own agency in 2018.
What did you like about the business? Because no disrespect, I don't hear anybody saying that they're a travel agent. I mean, I look at destinations and I just kind of like brush it off, but there's a process to this to make sure that you're safe, to make sure you know the laws when you travel abroad. It's
a lot to it. It's a lot to it. So, and I think now, after being in the game for over 7 years, that's what people see now. They know that Brandy is going to educate us. My niche is first-time travelers, so they don't know anything. So I'm going to show you what you need to do in the airport, how soon you need to be there, what you need to take. Like, I'm going to go through all that as if you're a child. Like, you don't know.
They need to watch Travel Abroad when people be like, I didn't know that was in my suitcase.
Right. That kind of stuff. Like, or just being there 2 to 3 hours early, the simple steps of traveling. But what got me the most about it is all the amazing people I got to meet. So I have clients all over the world. I don't have clients just in Indianapolis. I don't have clients just in Indiana. I have clients everywhere because social media is powerful. So once they start seeing these trips and you're advertising these trips, they're like, well, who is that? And my face is my brand. So you're going to see my pictures. They're going to get tired of you. Brandy Nicole, her face is everywhere because I want you to know who you're working with. I don't want it to be a surprise because I might sound something different when you call the line. I want you to know who you're working with, and I am who you get, right? So when I started working with all these people, I'm just like, man, I'm bringing value to these people. Because where I came from, these people weren't traveling. Passport, they don't even know what a passport is. They didn't know that. They don't know how to travel. The farthest we went as kids was Kings Island. I never had been anywhere else, right?
Some of us couldn't even go to Kings Island.
Right. Yeah. I didn't go anywhere else till I was like maybe 18.
And at 21st and Brightwood, you weren't going too many places.
I wasn't going too far. You weren't going too far.
You wasn't crossing over that railroad track.
We weren't going past Sherman for sure. We weren't going past Sherman for sure. So being able to provide a service to people who look like me, who never had that experience, who only went to Kings Island, and now I can offer you Las Vegas, Miami, Cancun, Bahamas. I loved it. Fell in love with it and been doing it ever since. My business grew 6 figures in 1 year. No lie. 1 year. 1 year is all it took.
Since you started this, how has the travel industry been for minorities who really don't have the financial resources, how don't know how to get a passport? Do you help them to get these documents as well?
Yes. Yeah, so we have a service that we can offer to help with passport assistance, or I just tell you, this is where you go, make an appointment, because now you have to make an appointment at the post office. When I first started, you didn't have to do that. But set you up an appointment at the post office. As long as you don't have any open cases, like I go through all of this with them. And I don't get paid. I paid a dime for that part.
Open case? You mean like legally?
Like criminal. Yeah.
Okay.
No open cases. We'll sit and talk to them about it. You know, as long as you don't owe child support, different things like that. I go through examples with them. Because most people think, oh, I'm a felon, I can't get a passport. That's not true. That's not true. You can't have an open case. You can have a passport as a felon. I send felons all around the world.
What about the guys that got child support or the women that got child support issues?
If you owe, you can't go. You can't get a passport.
Wow.
Not if you owe. Cannot be anything open if you're like on an open probation, like unless you get approval from whomever, your probation officer or whatever the case may be. But a lot of folks have that mentality because that's what they've been told. You're a felon, you can't go anywhere. That's not true. You may be a past felon. Yes, you can travel. You know what I mean? You was a felon 20 years ago or whatever, or, you know, whatever the case may be. So you can travel. So being able to teach them that, so many people, I get the response, I didn't know that. You know, they didn't know. And then I take them through the steps and they get their passport and I get to send them. It's the greatest feeling in the world. Greatest feeling in the world. Because can't nobody take that away from them.
You know, it's funny. Energy, emotional energy is contagious. I'm feeling all that energy. Like, seriously, I'm feeling all that energy. How can the viewers get in contact? Wait, before we do that, we was talking about something off the record.
Yes, we were.
Your brand.
Yes.
Explain to the viewers the importance of a brand. How long did it take you to build that brand? And what was the significance? Because Brandy Nicole is not your full name. That's your branding name.
Right. So, I'll say this. For a long time, because I was doing travel for so long before I did anything else, I was the travel lady. That's what everybody knew me by. I could walk in the mall and they would say, you're the travel lady. You do all the trips. You do the trip. Yes. So I didn't want to be known just as the travel lady because I knew I had way more to offer to the world. So although I started with travel, then I went into event planning and wedding planning. So hence the event center that I opened later on. So I've had the event center for 3 years. Within that, it's a one-stop shop. So you get from beginning to end. If you want to go on a cruise or a trip, we can do that, as well as plan your wedding and your, you know, everything after that. But it wasn't really until last year that I said, I need to brand me. All the hats I started wearing, so the travel, the event center, then I started getting into public speaking, then I wrote the book, then I do a lot of business coaching now. So I started doing all these things, HR consulting, all the things that I'm doing, community events. I said, I can't be just known as the travel lady because then that's all they're going to know. So I said, what better way to get my brand out to the world? I started branding me. I turned Brandy Nicole, which Nicole is my middle name. So it's not like a made-up name. That's really my name. But for a long time, I didn't want to go by that name. I actually didn't like Nicole, and I didn't like it for a lot of reasons.
What was 3 of the reasons?
Ooh-wee.
You opened up that can of worms.
I did.
Yeah.
One, it was very common. I was like, everybody's Nicole. And, you know, you look at Nicole's and you're like, oh, they got attitudes. That was one. But also, me and my father...
And they don't have attitudes?
They do not. I don't.
Come on, girl.
I have great attitude. And then my father named me that. And as I said before, we had a rocky relationship.
So you want to disassociate.
Very rocky relationship. And I love my daddy to death. Don't get it twisted. But we had a very rocky relationship. And I know he full throttle named me that. And I was like, I ain't going by that name. Because I had some sort of resentment towards him, you know. And so, and that's no secret. But then I wanted to embrace that name. I wanted to embrace it. I said, because I am bigger than that. I'm bigger than what I went through. I'm bigger than all the challenges that I faced coming up. And I want to be a worldwide brand. I want people to know me all over. So I got me a website, IamBrandyNicole.com, and you're going to find everything. It's a one-stop shop. You need a wedding planner, a travel planner. You need your consultations, your coaching, whatever you need. Now you know my face. So I'm always taking pictures. I'm doing photo shoots because I want you to see my face. And so it's important. If I don't know who I'm dealing with, why am I going to book with you? But you're going to know, because every website that you go to, whether that be lovefortraveling.com, whether that be livinginthemomentevents.com or IamBrandyNicole.com, you're going to see my face first, period.
So branding is very important.
It's very important.
When you give some advice to the next generation, they're so caught up in numbers and validation through numbers, likes, subscribes, that AI has taken their mind from being old school, hard work thinking. And I know the fact that they can become overnight sensations overnight, but that's like rolling the dice.
Yeah.
But our ancestors didn't teach us that. We had to go out and you got your lumps. But what do you give the young entrepreneurs and the young innovators of the world today? What kind of advice would you give them?
Yeah, so, wow, that's a lot because I kind of deal with that every day. So up until last year, my page on Facebook was not public. I was like, I don't want you to see my kids. I don't want you to see my husband. It was not public. I'm like, whoever is my friend, that's who gets to see, my stuff. But then I realized if I am branding me and I want to be a world renowned,
they have to know you.
They got to know me. They got to know me. They got to know my world. They got to be able to trust me. How can I say I'm a business coach and train thousands of people and teaching these people about how to run their businesses, but they don't really know the authentic me? So I had to finally make that decision. And I sat down with my husband and I said, listen, I changed my name, which was on Facebook, my real name, changed that. And I said, look, it's Brandy Nicole from here on out. Are you good with that? Like, the world is going to see this. Whomever is going to see what I'm putting on social media. So one is super important because that's the world we live in. So we all know that. However, likes and follows and all these different trends and things, that doesn't really make you, nor does it equate money all the time.
Right.
So let's be real about it. It's you that is the brand. It's you that they want. I could care less, honestly, about a like or a share, because I would rather you come to me, you can come to my office, whatever it needs to be, and I want you to know me, the authentic me. Half the people that's on Facebook, they don't even really know you. You got all these trends and TikToks and all these things going on, but that cannot be all that you're concerned with because it does not always equate money. It just really doesn't.
I think if people understand, if you touch one person, it usually, in a positive way, it amplifies
Right.
3 times 4.
Right.
And I think they
Word
lost
of mouth,
that.
it's powerful.
Yeah, I think they lost that concept. Let me thank you personally for coming on to the show. How can the viewers reach out to you?
You can follow me on Facebook, Brandy Nicole. Instagram, I am Brandy Nicole. What else we got? TikTok, Brandy Nicole. And then all of our websites, lovefortraveling.com, livinginthemomentevents.com, and IamBrandyNicole.com.
You are definitely a beast. Notice how we just flipped this whole show around.
Right. I love it.
You never know what's going to happen on this show. Now, it started out with just the
wedding planner.
The wedding planner.
Yes.
She has a book that has more information than you can possibly ever imagine.
Yes, get the book. Get the book.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show.